Good morning, Fari Hamzei.
Hey, Fari, it's Joel and Dennis. How you doing this morning?
Hi, Joel. Hi, Dennis. Joel, thank you for that excellent lobster bisque. Thank you very much, sir.
It's funny, Fari, because I called around a couple of delivery places, and
Yes.
so I called this place, and as soon as I said the address, they knew it. They said that's Fari's place. Do you order expensive soup from there all the
Wait,
time?
Dennis, what did you put into this coffee today? Tell me, talk about it. Let's talk about that. I mean, come on.
No, they said Fari. They know it. They said you were a real big tipper too. That you were a really nice guy and a big tipper. But hey, that lobster bisque from Shaw's Crab House is incredible, and I know you like expensive soup, and I owed up, and you took a lot of abuse on
We
Twitter.
appreciate that, sir. We appreciate
Okay.
that.
So
let me put it this way. All sins are forgiven.
okay. So what about Twitter?
That's a declaration. All sins are forgiven.
What about Twitter now, Fari? What are you thinking?
Oh, I want to talk about that. First of all, I want to say something else. You guys got to realize my background. I'm a sentiment guy, right? Put call ratio, so on. What's the biggest sentiment out there that collects and it's real time? Remember, I want dollar rated. I want it to be real time. I don't want to read about it tomorrow in somebody's newsletter. I want to know now. The best thing I ever invented is Twitter. Now, how do we use that? I'm not going to make any names. That's not fair because they may change their behavior. Okay, and we had in our chat room when the sample size is big enough, you can do that. And Twitter can't get any bigger, right? It's out there. So, what we look for is too much excessive comments or excessive good or bad. Too much optimism or too much pessimism, and we rank a number of people so that we go through at Twitter. You can have any kind of a handle, right? That's probably what the problem is with them versus Facebook. You can have multiple. We have like six. Officially, we have 6 or 7 accounts. I think 5 of them are for the products. Each product gets those are locked. The other 2 are one is for my @Hamzei Analytics, which is what I communicate with most people, and then there's a Hunter Killer Sub, which is our charting package. Twitter feed, which does market timing, especially on Saturdays, and then maybe Monday or Tuesday kind of sets the tone what we're expecting based on what we saw and projected, and then how reality comes in Monday, Tuesday. Okay, but you can have all kinds of handles. All you need, I think, the uniqueness they want is email. Well, how hard is it to have more than one email? At Hamzei Analytics, I personally run around 15 emails I have, by department and so on and so forth. So you can go in and take a look. If you rank them, there's a series of people who are consistently right, and there are a series who are consistently wrong. As a matter of fact, one of that group, I'm not going to mention it to you, which belongs to which one, you have showcased this week.
Okay.
Okay.
We won't talk about that.
So what we look for is behavior. We don't want to change their behavior, but we look at how it is. And as people, for example, let's say get it to extreme. A good example would be, I will give you a date that comes to my mind. About 1st of February. Okay? We had massive pessimism. You see that out there, and it's just happening. And if you look at who they are, who's saying what, and how they've done in the past, okay, you see that, for example, these were the weak longs. They couldn't hold it. So they're throwing, what are they doing? I remember I'm a Navy guy. So they're throwing baby with the bathwater through the torpedo tubes. They're shooting it out, baby with the bathwater. They're giving up. That's the time you buy. So that's what I think value of Twitter is.
Are you looking at buying Twitter right now? Are you looking at this level here, and are you nibbling into Twitter here, Fari?
We are. Actually, we put a second trade on yesterday. I mentioned on my open feed. I said that we bought July call spreads. We had June. We're not dumping them because they were. Remember, talk about options now. Remember, this is an option house sponsor, so let's talk about them with options here.
Okay.
If you buy, you don't buy. The weeklies are, first of all, the weeklies were juiced up. The only person who's going to make money is the market maker. Unless this is Google, and we know Twitter is no Google. Hello. I know Twitter, okay? Twitter is a friend of mine. I know some of the board members. I wrote to the other guys about Ali Rouhani, the COO, who's a Persian guy. I say, hey, your API is having problems. You got to fix that. They want user growth. You need to fix. How do you get user growth? Remember, API 1.1 is to use people like me who have a lot of traffic, use their servers. Well, we prepared our servers, but API is not kicking in. There are errors in there. Go and fix that. So we think they're going to. As a matter of fact, one of my engineers last night reported that they're looking at the dev forum. There'll be some changes there. They're trying to catch up. Looks like pressure is working. If you're a board member and you write to them, you call them, you talk to them, guess what happens? They start reacting. Okay? Especially somebody like me with the following that I have. Things that I do, things that I say, who I am, who I teach, is a big megaphone. They need to react. Okay? So that's beginning to happen. Now, so we bought some, we had some June calls. We lost, obviously, on it because of that was pre-earning. So we lost basically on volatility. That's what we lost, okay?
Yeah.
And we're down about 40% on them. Now, we immediately went on by June's once the price stabilized. We bought,
July's.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's the July, yeah. July, I'm looking at the wrong line here. I'm sorry, it's July. The call spread is a little bit lower because we also want to have a spectrum in front of us of the possible targets it hits, okay? There's no question that's under pressure. There's no question they missed on user growth. But I think the main key they need to do is look at this API 1.1. Remember last year when they did that? This has been a year now. The dev forum went crazy, the development forums. People start complaining. They did not fix it. It's been dragged on. By late summer, I'd given up. Because you got to be realistic. If you're in a development environment, you understand these things. 2 or 3 months is normal in software. Because by end of summer, I started making calls to people I know over there. Say, hey guys, what are you doing? When are you going to get this thing fixed? Recently, I've been reported from my team that I trust is, there are being some changes. Slowly it will come back. It still is the lowest, okay, lead generator per person. Still is the lowest cost lead generator per person. Now, is it as qualified as Facebook? No, because anybody can get on Twitter. But I believe cream rises to the top. So you get out to do what you think, and if you're doing the right thing, people notice you. And then when people come in and you're asking them, hey, come into this webinar or look at this thing, obviously they're going to give you the real information, and you move on. So in terms of lead generation, you can't beat that. So I'm longer term. Actually, I'm more bullish on it now. As I told Joel, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said, let it make a new low, then I'll be interested. True to my words, I'm doing it. Made new lows. 36.56. That was a low. Intraday yesterday morning. I'm sorry, pre-market yesterday morning.
Yes, go ahead, Dennis.
I'll just say, Fari, that I completely agree with you on the fact that this is now the most hated stock, it seems like, on the street. Everybody's coming on CNBC and they hate the stock. And
also, remember what Grosso said. I look at 2 people at the CNBC. Grosso I like, and Guy Adami. Look what Grosso said. This is the guy from the floor. He's the governor, one of the governors of NYC. He's a smart cookie, okay? You know what he said? He said it's the most shorted stock. These guys know these numbers. When the stock is that shorted, small move, it'll jump. Because you know what? You can't. It's a hard time to go and borrow and short anymore. See my point? Yeah. So this is stock. It's time to own it now.
And I agree with you on the fact that I'm a contrarian at heart here too. Like obviously on the short term and day trades, I'm a lot of times a momentum trader. But when I see sentiment and I see everybody hating the stock, I like to fade sentiment. And the sentiment for this is very negative right now. And I like the way you're approaching it. I like the way you're approaching it with the options, because obviously you limit your losses there a little bit too that way.
I'm putting up pennies. I'm putting up pennies.
Yeah,
and remember now, this is the problem this is another lesson about option guys. Pre-earnings, because these are juiced up, we went out to June's, okay? Even June was expensive. Now they're half as expensive. So what's going to happen now? I am putting up something like 15 cents to 18 cents for a length of a spread. Always look at what you're putting up for length of a spread. For example, if it's a 5-point spread, okay, I don't want to pay more than $1.20. Are you with me? For that 5 points.
Yeah, you talk
if
about.
If it's 10-point spread, I don't want to pay more than $2.
Yep.
You know why? It's expected value. It's a game theory. I give you a pair of dices. You keep on throwing. One throw doesn't mean anything, but if you do 100 times, keep a stat. That's a stat. That stat tells me from people like, the admiral, the fellow who ran the Merc pit, one of the largest pits, pre-crash. These guys understand if you cross the 30 cents on 30 cents on a dollar of the spread, of that distance, in the long as you throw more times, you're going to go bankrupt.
I think
okay?
what's
That's
interesting.
Expected value. So you got to have some rules.
Okay, what I think is interesting about Twitter is that the former all-time low was right at 38.80. It had bottomed there in November, 38.80 and 38.92, and then it had its run up. Now we were talking about it. I tried to get Dennis to do a bet in the pre-market. I thought the low was in. He didn't bite on that one. 36.56. I was trying to get some of that soup back, that expensive. Well, we go with Detroit. We go with Chili here in Detroit, Coney Island.
Yeah, I understand.
But this final thing on Twitter here, we're going to get to the regular market here, but look where it closed. It closed right at 38.97, a little bit off the high of the day, trading up and down in the pre-market. But it's interesting. Right. The market has a memory, and that was the former all-time low, and it came back. And actually, if you look at it, it opened to 37.66. If you were willing to take a little heat off the open, buying it 40 cents, you could have had a decent trade.
Yes, absolutely. Remember, the old support or becomes new resistance.
Exactly.
As yesterday in the chat, so we talked about that because I think it was the intraday. I noticed it came to 4 cents. Joel, 4 cents of that 38.80. You and I have been talking about for a number of weeks and pulled back.
Exactly.
Intraday.
Yep.
Yeah, so it does have leverage. It is absolutely right. I agree with you guys.
Okay, so how you feeling?
Speaking of Detroit.
Yes.
Speaking of Detroit, my buddy today is going to hire a new guy. William Clay Ford Jr. is bringing a new guy that has worked for him for a while, Mark Fields, and getting Mullally out because Mullally it's time for him to retire. He did a great job at McDonnell Douglas Boeing in San Luis, came over and saved Ford during a very, very rough time. So Billy Ford is having a new CEO today. I hailed to him. We used to be drinking beer together at nights at the pub at Princeton. His favorite and mine were the same, Heineken, and he was a little bit just shy. That's all. But he's come around and he's doing a great job at Ford. I'm proud of him.
Okay, all right.
What do you think of the stock?
Yeah, what do you think of the stock here?
First of all, let me give Reg FT. Affiliate owns a bunch of it, and actually, I was doing a book, met him, and went and bought a bunch of stock. Having said that, I don't own anything. We have traded a bit in the past, I'd say, in the last 3 years, a little bit of their options. So, but I don't have any position in it right now. So let me say that we're clear there. If I go to a longer term, I assume you mean, is this for a trade or for investment?
Investment.
What's your hold horizon?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. Good. Let me open a weekly chart. Yeah, I'm not that excited about it. Unless it goes through 18. Remember, I'm not interested to buy something cheap. I'm interested in something that would preserve my capital and grow with it. Yeah, I think it gets through 18. I'll be excited about it more. Right now, the pattern it has, it's been underneath. Are you with me? 50-week bar. It has a hard time getting over it, and this has been going on since it dropped below on a retest in beginning of this year. So how many weeks we're in this year? This is 4th, 16, well, like 17, 18 weeks. For the last 17, 18 weeks, it has a trouble getting over that. I'm talking about as a close, okay? Yeah. Close. Have not seen that. Now, the next never, let's say it does that. It doesn't mean it's going to go there. It does that. Now it's above a current resistance. That resistance becomes a support if it's tested. So we need to wait for the test also. So I'm just writing all those off and saying, you know what? I'm just going to raise the bar. Talk to me after 18. Okay. I just don't see it yet because this could go up to 18 and fail again.
Okay.
Right? We talk about long-term hold. And that's a time value of money, right? But you're holding 2 years. That's a big time value of money. I'm not talking about necessarily interest rates. I understand interest rates are in the toilet. But how about dividends? Dividends are good in most of the stocks. Or your alternative, your opportunity cost.
Okay, S&Ps, getting up here near
Yes,
the
sir.
highs. We have the jobs data coming out tomorrow. Kind of some
Yes,
muted
sir.
action so far. Are you playing any SPYs on the number? Or are you just going to wait and play the S&P futures when they get a bang for the buck?
I'd probably just stay with my S&P futures. I kind of trade what I know, which is the future, and they're 24/7 or 24/6. They're off on Saturdays, but I can. There's depth there, and the spread is very thin compared to SP.
Correct.
Well, the spread on SPYs are a penny. It's acceptable, but delta is different, right? You have a 50 delta on the option on the futures. I have 19-to-1 leverage
Yeah,
with
there
100
you go.
delta.
Okay.
So I'm going to wait. I'm usually also even when it comes tomorrow, at 7:30 tomorrow Chicago time, I usually wait a minute or two, or maybe at least a minute, just to see what that first head fake is. Okay. Normally on FOMC, on a non-farm, you're going to have some head fake where the institutions move it a little bit before or a little bit after, just to flush the other side against, again, the week longs or week shorts. So, but given what ADP came in, ADP showed their hand yesterday, we should be fine. We should be okay. Not a big surprise. The problem is, bigger than that, is yesterday morning, GDP. We need a new group of people down in Pennsylvania Avenue, both ends. We should fire both of them and get some new people in, because at 0.1 anemic GDP and the debt burden we have and the demographics that's coming up in the 5 to 10 years, we keep up this practice, we're done.
Okay, so
Here comes Gibraltar. Let's all move to Gibraltar.
okay, so you.
It's a tax haven and the internet is good.
All right, so we're up against all-time highs here. So I guess you're saying here you're not looking for a push up through off this number, or where you standing?
Well, as I wrote as you know, on Sunday nights for all the members, I write a little column. Kyle gets it, and Jason gets it. I think I sent it to, to Dennis, because you gave me your email. Yeah. I didn't have your email, Jason, Joel, but I'll include you. You'll see what I call for the week. This is for members only. And we call for with the stops and targets on SPY, and mainly it's for playing options. It basically says go and play options on these levels, and I go through a bunch of numbers that I crunch from our pages, and market timing from the timer digest is there. What's my call is over there, and what things to look forward. I do believe we're going to hit 900 this week. I'm saying 1900. 1900 this week, not 900. Hello. 1900 this week. Mainly because Auntie Jeanette, okay, and she did a good job yesterday. I don't think the numbers are going to be anything crazy. The problem really was GDP. My fear was yesterday, not tomorrow.
Okay, all right. We got
all-time high on SPX is 1897.28. The 2 sigma is 1903. That's the magnet. We should go to 1903.
Yeah, Fari, I've been talking about a scenario, and Harlan was agreeing with me. I'm wondering your thoughts on it, that a possible scenario where we go up, make new highs just by maybe a few ticks, shake out all the shorts, sucker in a few breakout longs, and then kill it on.
Yes.
Do you see that scenario as a possibility?
Sure. If it goes too fast, too good, too fast. Remember, that's 20 points from here. We closed at 1884, right? 1884 cash. SPX cash is the close last night. 1897 is all-time high. 1903 is plus 2 sigma, 2 standard deviation move from the 0 sig, all right? And it bounced off at 0 sig and 50 bar, as we said in the newsletter, okay? Everything is in play, right? But, I mean, everything is coming in like a script from central casting. So if we hit 1903, that's a 20-point. Between two, now let's say I assume today, by the way, should be very quiet. This is what we call sausage. Yesterday, sausage was so bad. One of the greatest sausage players, FT71, he had to go home at Seabot. The smell was too bad. Too much sausage. Today's going to be no different. More sausage today. So most chance of that 20 points is Friday. If that happens, that's a lot. That's 200 points on a Dow.
That's a big
Don't
move.
you think with our by the way, this is Mayday. Let me say hello to Comrade Putin, who might be listening. Don't you think with all the misadventures of Comrade Putin, that the big boys would not going to be long this weekend, so they will sell into it tomorrow.
Okay, all right. We've had Fari Hamzei on a Hamzei Analytics giving his take on the market. Folks, please join in the chat room and put out any questions you have for Fari to touch on some issues. Fari, a great lively discussion. I hope you enjoyed that soup, and we're going to have to try and set something up so I can get my soup back. But thanks for coming on. Good trading to you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir.